Okay, I've just bought the PARD NV008 and not super impressed with this mount. It's okay, but I didn't like the height. It's fairly high off the action of the rifle, so I nutted at it. Did a bit of thinking and investigation. Anyway, I've come up with a which I think is a better solution to get that scope lower and also use a QD mount. Now, doesn't that look a lot better and a lot easier to take on and off? It's an American Defense mount, which I've modified to suit the PARD, and it's lowered the scope by 1/2 inch, and yeah, I reckon I'm pretty happy with it actually. Levers on this side so it doesn't obstruct the bolt, the action of the bolt. Yeah, so we'll have a better look at it. So I've got an ATN thermal scope with a American Defense mount on it, a QD mount that I run on 4 different Tikkas, a 308, 223, 17 HMR and the 22 as well. So all the rifles have this Tally 0 MOA Picatinny rail, which I've installed in reverse, so I have overhang at the back, and that gives me perfect eye relief for the thermal. So I wanted to somehow have a QD mount for the PARD as well off this system. So this is that's the mount that I used, American Defense Manufacturing AD B3 standard, and it's for the ACOG optics. So it's a Picatinny mount for the ACOGs. It already had 2 holes drilled. I've utilised that hole, and we've drilled 2 more holes here and had to realign that hole. So it'll have 4 screws holding the PARD to the mount, and also we've machined the groove 1mm into this mount, and from the existing the way this comes from the factory, I've machined the sides down so that when the PARD sits on it, it has a purchase on the low spot, as well as these 2 side bits as well, where the factory PARD mount, it only screws down on this. These side pieces of the PARD mount don't actually support the scope at all. So we've actually recalculated the depth so that the PARD, when screwed down to this mount, will be supported not only by the center but both sides will have purchase on the scope to stop any rocking. So yeah, and it overhangs 15mm, which gives me perfect eye relief. So being a 90mm long mount, I still have 75mm picking up on the rail. So if you look in reverse, you've got that full piece there grabbing, or 75mm of that is gripping that Picatinny rail, and also gives extra strength because it's a profile that runs down the entire length of the rail, of the mount, sorry. So you've got that extra strength there to stop any movement at all. So yeah, I'm really happy with how it's come up, and like I said, yeah, it's lowered the scope by 1/2 inch. So yeah, having that like that, I can easily interchange between the 4 rifles, the 4 Tikkas that I run. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with how it's come up. And yeah, that's the mount, and a lot more sturdy. And I've heard so many horror stories about these things being pretty weak and snapping. There. So, yeah. There you go.